Good morning and happy, finally, Friday from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. First and most importantly, to all of our veterans, thank you will always be woefully inadequate. But thank you. Thank you more than we can tell you. This is too good. Now even Ivanka and Jared have finally come to the same conclusion that all rational Americans of any party have come to. Screw this. We're out of here. No more insanity. And this is what I think is great. This is clearly the end politically for Donald Trump. Clearly. And this is what is cool. Despite all of his bombast, this isn't going to end with a bang. This hasn't ended with a bang. It's ending with a series of pathetic little boy infantile whimpers because he is who he is. Okay, regardless of how you feel about President Biden's student loan forgiveness program, I'm really not in the least bit surprised that a federal judge in Texas struck it down, describing that as an executive overreach. From a strictly legal standpoint, it probably is. I'm looking for things to take heart in and be optimistic about. It looks now like democracy really was on the ballot on Tuesday. And a lot of people got that. And a lot of people responded. Think about this. You got to rank and triage problems. Establish what's the biggest problem and go from there. And I'm going to tell you this. The only people whose ignorance exceeds election deniers is climate change deniers. We better fix this or nothing else is going to matter. And understand this. WTF were you doing when you were supposed to be paying attention in science classes? Because there's no speculation here. There is no political partisanship here. This is pure math. You've heard people say it's so arrogant to think that we could affect the planet's climate. No, it's arrogant and ignorant to assume that we couldn't, because we did, and we have, and we better fix it. And again, this is not a mystery. It's just math. For those of you who believe in math. All right, sports. National Football League could be in some trouble. The D.C. Attorney General has filed suit against Daniel Snyder, the Commanders, and the National Football League for conducting what he says is a scam and a sham investigation into the hostile workplace charges that the Commanders are clearly guilty of. And I will tell you, from my standpoint, I think that case is pretty strong. I think there was a degree of a cover-up here. Okay, think about this. After beating Alabama in dramatic fashion last week, what do you want to bet that LSU just screws the pooch tomorrow morning against Arkansas? It's the week after that celebration, and also, just like vampires, the Tigers don't like daylight. You can look it up. A&M and Auburn, that'll be like the train wreck you can't take your eyes off of. And while we're talking train wrecks, Colts versus Raiders just got more dismal with the news that Vegas receivers Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow have been placed on IR. They're going to have to miss at least 4 games. The Niners can't buy a break, especially on defense. Their cornerback Jason Verrett, the latest casualty, he went down in practice on Wednesday with a torn Achilles. Marcus Mariota has really played well this year for the most part, and I'm pulling for him because I think he's a good guy. So what happened last night? He just stung it up. Now, the flip side is that Carolina running back and former Longhorn D'Onta Foreman was a minch last night. My goodness, 130 yards and a touchdown on 31 carries. Mr. Foreman, feel free to take the rest of Friday off and get in that ice bath. The only thing that surprised me about yesterday's retirement of NFL linebacker Blake Martinez is that he's only 28 years old. Seems to me like he'd been in the league since 1963. I'm not really into the gambling thing, never have been, but can somebody explain to me why Texas is a 7-point favorite over 9-0 TCU? I'm not sure I get that. UTSA is in a great position, and this has really been an accomplishment because it's been a struggle. The Roadrunners have had so many devastating injuries this year, but still, they're poised to wrap up a place in the CUSA championship game if they can beat Louisiana Tech, which they will do. Just something to think about going forward in the NFL season. Yeah, Josh Allen's a great player, but are the Bills too overly dependent on him? Okay, we may find out if he can't play this Sunday against the Vikings and they put Case Keenum in there. But on the one hand, these stats are amazing, but on the other hand, they may not be healthy for this team. Allen has accounted for 82% of the Bills' total yardage this year and 92% of their offensive touchdowns. That's a little out of whack. What is up with the U.S. women's national team? They've lost 3 in a row for the first time since 1993. See, I follow the women's team almost as closely as and extensively as I ignore our men's team. Couple of San Antonio area high school football notes. I'm fired up about this. First of all, Bernie's really, really good. The Greyhounds are 11-0. They polished off Taylor in a bi-district game last night, and they're going to be playing football for a while, like close to Christmas. They're really good, and I'm fired up about this because I'm so fortunate. I get to do the play-by-play tonight on a live stream telecast of a bi-district game between New Braunfels Canyon and Georgetown. And this is great. Canyon's 9-1, Georgetown's 8-2. It's very unusual to see a matchup like this in the first round of the playoffs. My buddy Kerry Barbosa will be handling the color analyst duties there. That's always fun. But if you're into elite level high school quarterbacking, you might want to check this out because Canyon Deuce Adams, look at these numbers. 33 touchdown passes against 5 interceptions. And Georgetown has a young man named Noah Burris, 26 TDs against only 3 INTs. Join us on the Cougar Sports Network. And finally, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says, quote, he has no doubt that Kyrie Irving is not anti-Semitic. I beg to differ. I got plenty of doubt. We're radically rational.